Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. Glad to have you here. And today we have a massive, an absolutely massive 3v3 on the Warpstone mine, or crater. And you can see it is an alliance of good. We have the Dwarves, Bretonnia, and the Empire going up against two hordes of Skaven and one of Greenskins. You can see I am the dwarves over here, making a little bit of defensive geometry, using the terrain kind of to my advantage, and you can see I have a main line of kind of longbeards interspersed with dwarf warriors, just to kind of hold a little bit, along with some armor-piercing damage. Then I have four groups of these miners with blasting charges. I have two units of rangers. I've got Ekron's miners back here, and it's just my fourth miner. And then I've got the Warriors of Dragonfire Pass, with just a regular dwarf lord here. And they're kind of going to run around as a group and problem solve and really just go where I need them to go. And then I do have a master engineer here who will be buffing the effectiveness of these two cannons. And you can see I also have two organ guns and then one gyrocopter with brimstone gun. You can see over here just a main line of peasants. I don't know quite how well this is going to go against the Greenskins. A whole bunch of peasant bowmen, two blessed field trebuchet, hippogriff knights, looks like a paladin. Where's the lord? Looks like just a lord on the horse. Then he's got two questing knights for some armor-piercing damage. So that really being the killing power of the army. Over here you can see main line of swordsmen. Royal Altar of Griffiths with Boris Todbringer on a horse. There'll be a very unkillable little blob. Of course, the Sunmaker. Looks like some crossbowmen, some handgunners, some halberdiers, and some tattersouls. Pretty straightforward Empire army. Do they not have any magic? Well, what do you got over here? Two units of pistoliers, who in Steel Faith do have a ton of extra damage, and they do decent armor piercing. They do 50-50 armor piercing, non-armor piercing damage. So they'll be pretty good at like killing whatever they need to kill. And then a Jade Wizard here to support the Royal Altar of Griffiths. Oh man, so many army comps. So bunch of Skaven, Plague Monks, Clan Rat Spears, Artillery, Globadiers. Looks like we got a Plague Priest, some Rat Ogres. What do we got leading this army? We got Queek Head Taker. So this is more of a Clan Moors army coming forward. In the middle, we got the Greenskins led by a Night Goblin War Boss with an Orc Shaman. Looks like Night Goblins, Savage Orcs, Savage Orc Arrow Boys, some Trolls for some armor-piercing damage, Black Orcs with shields. Definitely like that pick. We'll cut through the Bretonnian infantry pretty easily. Looks like Savage Orc Air Boys, Goblins in the back, Rusty Airs, and of course the Hammer of Gork. Here you can see huge artillery squad, 3 units of artillery, Hell Pit Abomination. Looks like a ton of clan rats in the back, and then just look at this line of storm vermin. It just extends. So thank God that I, as the dwarves, got this, because these guys will be much less effective against my troops than my teammates. So we'll kind of get started here. We'll take an overarching view of the artillery. You can see I'm shooting at the Black Orcs. I'm sending my gyrocopters over there to go deal with that Gracier of Ruin. Oh man, look at that lag. Yeah, so hopefully this, you can see the good damage we're doing on those Black Orc shields already. And you can see we've taken out one of the Plague Claw catapults. So we're doing okay. But you can see, luckily a lot of his stuff has been missing. You can see the frontline engagement is going well. Nice downhill charge for Bretonnia. And then the Empire kind of holding where it needs to be. But these men-at-arms will just get crushed in this fight, because they're kind of going in there. I guess they have the peasant bow support. But it's kind of left this gap open in our lines that hopefully we don't let them exploit. So you can see we are going to be moving up here as these just titanic armies clash. Yeah, you can see we've taken out 2 of these Plague Claw catapults, but the other 2 are still firing kind of freely. And then this Gracie of Ruin I had with my cannons shooting at it. And they've done a decent amount of damage to this Screaming Bell. And then also you can see I've got my gyrocopters. They should be going after it, but the chasing mechanics currently in Warhammer 2 are atrocious. Nice job already terrifying these trolls. And then you can see over here some good damage already on this main line from the Sunmaker. And then now those crossbowmen are going to be opening fire. And luckily these guys do have shields, so they won't be torn apart too bad. But you can see this doing some great damage here to these Plague Monks, who are a pretty high threat unit, especially to the Empire. You can see those pistoliers pulling around the side. going to go threaten that Warp Lightning Cannon. Definitely have to leave some protection on that thing, because that is a huge investment that you're just kind of letting go. So you can see I'm going to move up. I'm taking a little bit of damage on my main line. Of course, my slowly dealing with the Plague Claw Catapult is down to 1, so I think I'm going to switch targets onto the other ones here. You can see Rangers opening fire, blasting charges are coming down the hill. Not doing too much damage, but I didn't get the cleanest of charges. And then here you can see I'm going to be charging across the board. You can see the Empire has not even engaged yet, but already torn apart a lot of these units. These Death Runners are almost dead. And then it looks like these Royal Altar Griffites are just kind of doing what they need to do in the back. And then, yeah, you can see these Pistoliers coming around here, silencing this Warp Lightning Cannon. That is a nice pick from the Empire. But you can see in the middle here that these Men-at-Arms are already breaking. They have no hope against Savage Orcs. You can see my Rangers are firing at something. And then, yeah, my Organ Guns. This one, the one that was firing at Black Orcs, has 51 kills, but the 136 on that one, probably just mostly crew. And then you can see here he's kind of forgotten about 2 of his Storm Vermin. And so I'm okay with that, so I'm just kind of posturing up with my Miners. I'm going to get some free charges, I'm going to shoot at him, and if he just wants to sit there, I am all for that. So I'm just going to kind of let that happen. You can see this middle, oh god, it's already like crushed. Luckily, the Lord is still fighting pretty strong here in the middle, but he is fighting that Hell Pit Abomination, so that is not good. And you can see a lot of these Peasant Bowmen are wavering from the concentrated arrow fire, and probably magic coming down from the Greenskins. Brain Burster is a great orc shaman ability that can just like tear apart lightly armored infantry. And I think you saw that in one of my old FFAs. You can see here, letting these Bombardiers get a little bit too close, but you can see over here that these Royal Altar Griffites are doing pretty well. Awakening the Wood, sending these Storm Vermin scattering, and these Deathglow Bombardiers definitely need to pull out and start firing into the side. But you can see otherwise it's going pretty well. These Clan Rats will lose to the Swordsman. He's still got these Pistoliers in the back, and then you can see he can't really pull up his Rat Ogres without threatening them with immediate death under that incredible firing line. But you can see the Greenskin here player, just this hero blob, slowly draining and swamping the Paladin and his Hippogriff Knights. So this is not looking too good. Luckily, I've got some reserves to kind of fill in, and luckily over here, he's not really paying attention. So you can see I'm going to get some nice blasting charges off downhill on these guys and do some decent damage. I think blasting charges do AP, so it shouldn't matter what they are firing. But here you can see I've almost gotten rid of the second one. The second Plague Claw Catapult, there you can see it's routing. But now I've realized I have to kind of turn at these Storm Vermin and deal with them. And you can see there's a huge chunk of Spider Riders coming in the back. I have my Miners with blasting charges over here. And they should be able to deal with these guys. But you can see they did get a nice charge on my Organ Gun, and that is going to put that Organ Gun down. So that was definitely micromanagement from me. I really didn't think they would wait that long to pull that kind of card out, but they were patient. Over here you can see just tossing more and more blasting charges. Anything I can do to help my Dwarf Warriors win this fight, because this is a lot. They've spent a lot more money than me. And you can see my Longbeards here in the back, just waiting in reserve. I don't want to commit everything too early because I don't want to be too blobbed up for those Plague Claw Catapults. Over here you can see it's going, it looks like it's going okay. These Plague Monks, gonna have to deal with them somehow. You can see these Royal Altar Griffites are free in the back lines, ready to kind of potentially take out these Bombardiers or rear charge this whole blob with that fear and terror that the Royal Altar Griffites cause. That would be just a devastating move. But it's much safer here to just take out these Deathglow Bombardiers. And then you need to get all these ranged targets. You can see it's shooting at the Plague Priest, but I would definitely have them shooting at these Rat Ogres. Get them off the field, stop them from doing damage, because they are a pretty decent threat to your backline and your heroes. And then over here you can see the Hell Pit just kind of doing as it pleases. Cavs had to kind of commit just to the main line engagement. Looks like some sort of comet coming down here. There we go. There it is. Oh, and in response, a Foot of Gork. Let's see how much damage that does. Just stomping out probably what's left of this cav. Yeah, you can see there its health has gone down to nothing. It has just been dissolved by the Foot of Gork. But that is a huge mana investment here. But it did take out like almost a half unit of Questing Knight, so definitely I think worth it. Over here you can see it's going a little bit better. I've kind of stabilized. I've got my cannon still firing. My organ gun over here is up to 151 kills. It's taken out a ton of the artillery, and now it's kind of just eyeing a new target. And you can see a lot of the clan rats here in the back, and I'm not really at all worried about clan rats. It's not really worth my time to be shooting at them. And you can see my gyrocopters sitting in the back, just kind of, I don't know, I think they're still trying to chase that Gracier, so trying to prevent him from just doing whatever he wants. And then you can see these night goblins are coming in, so I'm going to pull in some miners in the back. But you can see that one Plague Cloud Catapult, nice targeting on my Longbeards, one of my nice reserve units I was keeping for late in the game. And then over here you can see the Rangers shooting in, and they won't do the most damage, but they will do damage, and that's really what matters. You can see the Ekron's miners here up only at 3 kills, but they still have most of their blasting charges left, which is pretty incredible. Here you can see the first kind of volleys coming off on this big blob of storm vermin. You can see some of them blasting my own troops, but you know, that is okay. You can see it actually taking a decent amount of damage here, fleeing with my Rangers as the Orc Blob kind of continues to deal with the Bretonnian heroes. And then you can see the Empire over here holding on. I think it's having a hard time dealing with these Pug Monks, but you can see there it did get that rear charge. But here come the Death Creepers into the back line. Hopefully he can protect this big investment here with the ranged troops. And then you can see in the middle, Queek has kind of turned the fight in the Skaven's favor and is doing a decent amount of damage there. You can see my Gyrocopter still kind of doing whatever it wants, doing nothing useful. And then you can see my organ gun has now switched targets. What's it shooting at? Oh, these trolls, I think. So trying to, I really want to get rid of the armor-piercing things that are on my enemies' rosters. And so you can see there, yeah, just shooting into this big blob of heroes and trolls, trying to kind of shift this in my favor. I'm probably friendly firing a little bit. Then over here you can see that, what is that, the Sunmaker? It still has ammo. Still, it's shooting over here at these archers, which is a good target. And then you can see over here my dwarves are getting shot, but they shouldn't really take the most damage. You can see my Warriors of Dragonfire Pass did get in here, and with their incredible stats, I think, especially with the Banner of Lost Holds, they're up to 37 melee attack. And so they'll crush these poor Night Goblins, just because they have incredible offensive and defensive stats. And then over here you can see my Rangers are just kind of firing at Skaven slaves, whatever they can get their hands on. And you can see these Ekron's miners need to be moved up a little bit. And you can see my cannons are still kind of positioning themselves. You can see trolls routing do damage by artillery, so I think I'm helping. It's very skeptical in a battle like this. And then over here, yeah, well, this Empire battle is much closer. You can see clan rats being spawned in the back line. There really doesn't seem to be an answer for this Hell Pit, but the Royal Ultrafrifites in Boris are still very healthy, and he's still got these Pistoliers running off routing units, and that is a great use of these guys. And you can see the Gracier of Ruin is actually over here, being just chased away from my side of the battle with these Gyrocopters. Probably could have used them a little bit better in this fight. Here you can see I actually pulled my Master Engineer in, and then you can see I'm also shooting in with my Rangers. Some Longbeards over here will just crush through these clan rats, but it will take quite a while, I think. And you can see they are taking a decent amount of damage from that artillery. You can see the main line is just kind of very atrocious and long. He's running out of storm vermin, I think. And you can see I've moved up my I'm moving up my Ekron's miners, and they're gonna get ready for a nice big blasting charge volley. Well, come on, do it.
Shoot!
There it is. Shoot or throw. Yeah, so you can see this just incredible volley. Exactly what I want. Exactly what the Ekron's miners want. And just, these guys are going to take so much damage. Well, actually, not too much. But, you know, any damage you can get on armored infantry, especially fighting Dwarf Warriors, where Dwarf Warriors are not going to win. They need as much support as they can get. And then you can see my Hero Blob just kind of pushing forward, making sure that this flank does not get overwhelmed. because it looked like my front was at least steady. I have some reserve troops over here, and I need my artillery to keep firing if I'm going to win this fight. And it looks like the Empire is... It's skeptical. It looks pretty even. You can see the Bretonnian stuff is coming back. Still got these handgunners. Nice Scorch coming down from the Skaven players. This is going to just roast a bunch of these handgunners. And then, yeah, you can see kind of a new line is formed. A big ol' like U. These Skaven players still got a lot of stuff in reserve, and you can see just more and more volleys coming down here from these blasting charges, which is exactly what I want. That's why you bring these Eckhart's Miners. They have a ton more blasting charges than a regular Miners with blasting charges unit, so it's really actually kind of hard to use all their ammo, but in this case I managed to keep them safe. Well, what is my artillery shooting at? It's hard to tell. But you can see a whole unit of Storm Vermin over here just kind of left inactive when they could be pushing around my flank. I do have some reserve units, but they probably would be able to get into my back line pretty unscathed. But you can see I am going to notice that, and you can see my organ gun is going to start teeing off and just tearing into these Storm Vermin. So very lucky for me. And you can see the Greenskin heroes are coming back. Still has the Lord, still has the Paladin over here, which is a blessing. It will definitely help hold the line. And then you can see the Rangers over here are still kind of trying to help this engagement however they can. And you can see my Longbeards have started to rout. And you can see these Miners just still throwing charges. What are they up to? They're up to 16, so they're not actually getting very many kills. But they are doing HP damage. And then over here you can see some Rangers did run out of ammo shooting at these poor Skaven slaves. You can see these Night Goblins did get around the back. And then you can see, I didn't notice he charged his Questing Knights in, but I'm going to be shooting these Storm Vermin in the back. As you can see, just with all that fire, they're already wavering. So that is a testament to like the lack of Skaven leadership. It does not take much to get them to start wavering, and that's when you can get them there. Especially when Scurry and Flea comes into the picture, you can see they're already routing. So Organ Gun, definitely MVP. If I had to do this again, I probably would have just brought 4 Organ Guns. You can see finally he's learned his lesson. He's started to charge up, but I've used up most of mine, luckily. And then here you can see he's shooting at my Rangers that are out of ammo, which is definitely a blessing. You can see my Warriors of Dragonfire Pass just kind of cutting through whatever they send towards me. And then you can see those Storm Vermin still getting shot. I did bring my Gyrocopters in and bombed these Rustiers to make sure that armor sundering was off the field. And what do we got going on over here? It looks like just a giant mosh pit. Looks like the Royal Altar of Griffith should be able to win this with Boris's help, I believe. As long as they still have some magic, and then you can see the rest of this is just kind of holding attrition. And you can see these Pistoliers in the back. Shooting up these Clan Rats. Peasant Bows shots in the back. It's pretty good. I like that Pistolier pick in this matchup. And then, yeah, you can see these Clan Rat Spears, which just will lose eventually. We are getting shot by a bunch of arrows, but that's okay, whereas Dragonfire Pass have shields. So it's not the worst pick for me. And then you can see, since I'm on guard mode, I can still throw blasting charges, even though I'm in melee, which is very nice. And then I noticed he was shooting at these guys, so I figured I might as well just leave them in reserve, let them keep getting shot at, because he wasn't shooting at anything more important like these guys. Peasant Bows coming back as well. Master Engineers kind of holding down this line, and then you can see just tearing into the side of this blob. I didn't really have anything better to shoot at, so I figured I would just shoot at these Skaven slaves. Help get them off the field. Maybe I'm actually shooting at these trolls, which would be a much better target. But you can see it is helping to rout those guys. And then you can see these Skaven slaves just will not be able to hold up to the Eckhart's Miners, because they actually have good stats. 43 and 35 is nothing to sneeze at, especially 44 melee, like 44 armor piercing. That's approximately what the Grumbling Guard have. I don't think I have any Longbeards left, but we should check out the Longbeard's armor piercing damage. Then over here you can see the Gyrocopters did break from the kind of concentrated arrow fire, and the Trolls, they have very low melee defense. You can see still just pulling in, trying to defend my cannons, because my cannons still have a decent amount of ammo. My, over here, there's some longbeards. 45, so these guys actually have approximately the same amount of armor-piercing damage as a longbeard with great weapon. So just a very good pick, the Ekron's Miners. You can see these guys are going to tear up these storm vermin. And we were actually all in a Discord while this is talking, and he just he was very mad at these guys. He did not like them. You can see they're up to 145 kills, and still very healthy. So they're kind of one of the key parts of my late game, essentially. And then you can see my cannon did rout off this orc shaman and shattered it, because I knew he had some magic left, so I didn't want to let him kind of just use that for free. And let's go take a look at this other side in slow-mo. Yeah, and you can see the Royal Altar of Griffites just slowly battering their way through Queek, I guess. He's putting up a good fight, though. But he's a little bit outmatched. He still has his clan rats around him, but, you know, they're not very heavy hitters. He's got some storm vermin coming in, though. You can see nice use of the Hell Pit Abomination. Get it out of there. Let it recharge against some, like, basic units. But Spearman definitely probably is not the best. And then you can see some miners that I had sent off into the corner are coming back, which is it's a good boon for me. And then here you can see I still have all 4 gyrocopters, which is lucky, or if they all get off the ground. So hopefully they can come back and use a lot of the ammo that I've neglected using here in this battle. But now you can see my Lord is in the middle, kind of buffing up all these units. I figured that was the best move, and then I went after the Night Goblin Warboss, but he was smart and pulled out, and so you can see the trolls are coming in. They just keep coming back. Trolls are vicious and terrifying, and you can see they are kind of routing a lot of this main line. I have just a couple of heroes left here. I've got my Ekron's Miners, so I've kind of, I think, probably won this left flank, but this middle has just entirely crashed because of the support of the Greenskin player from the middle. You can see these miners are coming in to disrupt this firing line. And then over here you can see the Royal Altar of Griffites just, yeah, there you go. Queek is going to get terrified. Benefit of the Royal Altar of Griffites, right, is they can terrify. Then he's going to go deal with this probably Hell Pit, and then come and save his poor Dawi kin. Because you can see these regiments around are just like running around in the back, being really annoying. And then you can see over here the Storm Vermin is just getting swarmed. Luckily, my Ekron's Miner are still very healthy. And then over here, you can see he really doesn't have too much to deal with my Dwarf Lords. His Trolls are just a little bit too shaky. And you can see over here, I'm trying to get them to shoot into this blob. But they can't because of the angle. They can only shoot straight. So this was another problem. I couldn't kind of get them to shoot where I wanted them to shoot. So I'm actually going to roll him up to the lip of this hill and shoot down. And then you can see this one I'm probably going to target on that Hell Pit when it comes a little bit closer. You can see that Lord still the Paladin and the Lord still helping out from Bretonia. And you can see a lot of my troops are kind of coming back here in the back. I'd love to get that Grumbling Guard just back in to help the Vigor. See the Hell Pit is running up. And then you can see I'm just really just positioning right on this hill. Trying to get that attacked by artillery morale debuff going, and we can kind of watch as this happens. Come on, shoot, come on. You can see over here they did shatter. Wow. And you can see, yeah, come on. Yeah, I don't even know where it hit, but there's really nothing here to shoot but enemies. So I just rolled up right point blank and just started firing because that was really the only chance I had. And then over here you can see I am shooting at this guy, but this is the danger of firing at targets across the map where you're not really paying attention. See there, I do hit and kill it, but I think I also took out a couple of the Royal Altar of Griffites. So yeah, just got to be careful with that friendly fire. But you can see over here, with the help of the Paladins and the Bretonian leadership and the point-blank cannon shots, we were able to kind of push this back. And now I've still got my cannons going. I still got ammo, which is the benefit of the cannons. They do last into the late game. And really, there's just nothing left here to challenge our leadership. You can see Boris is full health. I still have my Dwarf Lord on nearly full health and my Master Engineer nearly on full health. So, really, there's nothing left to challenge just our leadership, even if they could take out the kind of scattered remnants of our troops. And then you can see here, nice use of this Jade Wizard. Chasing off Queek. Peasant Bows, always coming back, always being a nuisance. And then you can see, Night Goblin War Boss does get shattered. Master Engineer shooting at him. Very exhausted. So I wish I still had the Grumbling Guard in there. So that was a very Pyrrhic victory for the forces of good against the forces of Skaven and the Greenskins. But yeah, you can see all my artillery except this one did pretty well because it got ambushed. You can see this one got 2 chevrons. These guys both got 1. 161, 148, nothing to sneeze at. Ekran's minus 210. Warriors of Dragonfire pass 140, 190 on the Grumbling Guard. Dwarf Warriors held, which is what they kind of needed to do. Rangers helped out. Definitely mismicroed the Gyrocopter, but it did prevent him from summoning like Storm Vermin in my back line. That probably went and bit my allies in the back. But I did do a ton of free damage on Marshal Gray's Gracier of Ruin. We can take a look at Jack's army here. You can see Royal Elder Griffiths, Pistoliers, of course, just running down fleeing units, and the Sunmaker always being MVPs, Tattersouls as well. Crazy Mofo, what do we got here? Hippogriff Knights got kind of shut down. Questing Knights doing okay, and of course the Peasants, just the Men-at-Arms just getting slaughtered. We go look at Phyllis here. You can see 255, 101, 103. Look at these guys, 360 kills on Forest Goblins. It's incredible, and of course those Black Orcs doing very well. The Bearded Dawi did play with us. I did steal the Dawi from him, and he was very upset. You can see, just didn't use those Globadiers, let his Warp Lightning Cannon die, and I think that was the tipping point. It's just not being able to utilize those 3 like heavy hitting power to like take out Jack's elite units, like Boris and the Royal Elder Griffites. You can see those Death Runners also getting very sad kills. But the Plague Monks, great choice against the Empire, as well with the Storm Vermin. Marshal Gray, you can see his Storm Vermin with shields just kind of coming into my Dwarf line. Hell Pit that he sent to the other side of the battlefield did very well. And one of his Plague Claw Catapults did very well. The one I kind of just gave up trying to shoot at. And then the Gracier of Ruin as well. Anyways, great game to all these guys. And I know that was a little bit laggy, but you know, I thought it was a really fun battle. How often do you get to see the Dwarf Artillery Squad? And that was just super fun. So anyways, thanks for watching, and that's that.